Hello everyone, my name is Notepad. So what are we doing today? Well, today we're going to be working on Eagle's rifles, the second batch. So, there has been very minor changes from the last stream. Let me see what the actual things were. Oh yeah, I added this section. This was meant to be here. When a skill becomes relevant, character adds a plus 1d6 to the check. That's it. And here, Lieutenant Colonel gains +1 to an attribute of their choice, just to make sure that they are, they're better than most. They have got that command for a reason. So, with that out of the way, now we get to work on the fighting unit. That's our goal today. The main goal of today, if we go all the way up here, main goal today is to get this done right here. These two parts, finishing up the units as well as trying to get combat set up. Now, combat is going to be a little bit weird, but once combat is done, we can go to battles in progress pretty easily. Will everything work as planned? Probably not, because it's me. So, how are we going to do this? So, ooh. Why are you maintaining heading 2? You shouldn't be doing that. Oh, wait. So the fighting unit is the men, is the soldiers. That is actually composed of the soldiers of the battalion or cavalry unit currently fighting. Ow, let me see how I want to do this. Each unit is built from a series of requisition points. Requisition points, we'll call it RPs. Requisition points that allow them to. Each unit is built from a series of requisition points. Actually, it's built from assigning a series of requisition points, RPs. It is by assigning a series of requisition points to the unit's attributes, and total manpower. That would be attributes, manpower, skill. Actually, equipment. Actually, skill and equipment. So, how do we want to do this? So, the idea behind this is that each of the squadron, composed soldiers of the battalion, the infantry battalion, or a cavalry squadron. So what we want to do, because one of the ideas is if we go to the Miro here, hello, yes, this is me. We have this idea that we need to do. And overall, I'm looking at about 500, 800 cavalry is going to have a lot less. So the cavalry need to be more expensive than infantry. But we have our 3 attributes. Actually, technically we have our 3 base attributes, which are going to be similar to our commanders, which is going to be fire, shock, and morale. So what I was thinking about doing is, right, you can requisition point. Actually, this will probably be easier if I go here. So we need to break a unit down. So we're going to do a basic fighting unit. So we're going to have our attributes. Those are going to be one of our key ideas. And of those attributes, we're going to have fire, shock, shock, morale. So then we're going to have we'll call it our physical health. Physical health is going to be the number of soldiers. We're going to have our morale health, which is going to be the number of soldiers divided by 2, because you always break before. You always break before you run out of soldiers. Actually, unless we do like morale health, then we make them the equation soldiers times training modifiers times training modifier. And then we're going to have to do the training, which are either going to be militia. Actually, no. And then we actually even have to decide what the unit type is going to be. And so overall, there are, let's see, type of unit. There's going to have basic line infantry. Actually, we'll just call it line infantry. You have line infantry where you have light infantry. Technically, we also have grenadiers. So line infantry, grenadiers. God, do we add guard? So if we actually Victoria to How do we want to do this? It's pretty much, it's going to be these 3 in infantry. However, if we go up, we need the idea of, let's see. Total War 2, units. Napoleon Total War units. Go to the units and the idea. The thing that gets confusing, and this is the part that gets a little bit odd, is that technically we have grenadiers, light infantry, line infantry, militia, and skirmishers. Light infantry is technically skirmishers. So actually, skirmishers kind of the extreme of that. So just basic infantry, grenadiers, light infantry, line infantry, militia, and skirmishers. And then we have cavalry. So are we going to have our light cavalry, medium cavalry, and finally our heavy cav. Hussars or cuirassiers. Cuirassiers would be the heavy, cavalry. Dragoons would be medium cavalry. Hussars would be light cavalry. That'd be the idea. Unless what we can do is we can scrap this. We can just kind of make this. Again, we'll have to abstract it out. We can do line infantry, skirmishers, and then we just have a baseline cavalry. And depending on what your attributes down here are, that kind of shift you to where you need to go. So line infantry, we're going to do, let's see, requisition costs. Requisition cost, like line infantry would be 1 equal 1, so actually we can 1 equal like 2 soldiers. We can do 1 equals 1 skirmisher. We can do, if we do 800, the idea with this would be 400 requisition for a full thing of line infantry. That's not gonna work. How do I want to do this? How do I want to do this? You think I would? I had everything planned out, but always getting into the nitty gritty of things is where things get difficult. You can find this in any game. So let's think about this logically. So if we perhaps if we look at Ultimate General Civil War Wiki, let's see, can we find anything in Ultimate General Civil War? Or small 300 plus. How do you want to do this? Pretty much we have to make it in the idea. So we have to, technically maximum is going to be 1200. So if we do the requisition cost in that way, it would be 1 equals 0.5. It would be 1 equal 5 soldiers. Then let's do the max of 1200 men. We do min 300 and then max 1500. Our cost would be, to get to 300, it would be 60 for the men. So it would be a 60 requisition for 300. And for 1500, it would be 1500 divided by 5 would be 300. That would be 300 requisition. 1500. Okay. So if we base it off of that metric, the skirmisher units aren't really that big. So if we do something like 1 for 3 skirmishers, have a minimum of 1500 there, and then have a maximum of like 600. So it would be 50, if I'm doing my math right, it would be 50 rec. 50 requisition for how do I want to do this? Welcome to the fun and exciting adventures of me losing my fucking mind. Okay, so if you do 50 requisition for 150 skirmishers, so for 600, which is 4 times that value, it would be 200 requisition for 600 skirmishers. ratio there kind of works. So if you have the idea of the shot cavalry here, 50, 30, 45, 60, you're not really supposed to have that many cavalry. That's not the point. If we go into the nitty-gritty of things, and I do mean the nitty-fucking-gritty, what I would do is something like line infantry grenadiers into light infantry, and then we'd break cavalry up, and these would be the infantry, and then here would be the heavy cavalry, light cavalry, medium cavalry. These guys are a lot more expensive, so it would be almost like light cavalry would be 1-for-1 almost. Like light infantry, 1 equals... We do 1 equals 3 for light infantry. Actually, it would be probably 1 equal 5, but if we do up here, we can probably do 1 to 3. We do 1 to 5 soldiers, 1 to 3 soldiers, 1 to 1 cav, 3 to 1 cavalry, and 2 to 1 cavalry. But your minimum for grenadiers, 300 to 1500. And then light infantry. Light infantry is not really supposed to... They're light infantry. They're supposed to kind of harass you and leave. Skirmishers are deliberately based around skirmishing, and so this would be like 250 to 500. Actually, you could probably do 150 to 600 again. And make this the idea of... light infantry into light infantry. We can probably just call these skirmishers. Skirmishers, light infantry's kind of skirmishers, and then all of these would be cavalry. Ah, God. This is why people don't do Napoleonic games, fun fucking fact. It's shit like this. Because you have to address this, because this is the main meat of the game right here. So if we do... But if we add in things like maneuver here... Maneuver is based entirely off of the type of unit. Then we'd have to do training right here. It's pretty much the idea is... unless we take... unless we take this idea out. So bear with me. We take this out. The training is pretty much, you have a base amount which you just assign the pips to your 3 core attributes. And then depending on the type of unit, you get a certain maneuver. And exhaustion? Ugh. Could work. And also allow people to open things up here a little bit if they wanted to add their own stuff. So, cavalry, let me double check the cavalry. Cavalry 100 to 200. Actually, we can probably be a little bit more conservative. So, if we want to do the costs here, if we do one requisition to 5 soldiers, it would be 60. 62 times, it would be times 5. It would be 60 times 5. That'd be 300. 60 to 300 requisition just for your men. Oh, let's see. Right here would be 150. 150 times that would be 30 to 600. It'd be 30 to 120 requisition. Yeah, right here, that would be the case. And then up here, 1 to 3. So if we do that, it would be 100 to... It would be 100 requisition to get 300 men. To get 1,500 men, I would need 500. All right. 50 to 500 requisition, but these are grenadiers. They're a little bit tougher, and they can survive a little bit longer. Actually, we do. The number of soldiers times unit, question mark. Yeah, we can just do number of soldiers. We do number of soldiers times we could do training time, training would work. We'll use the idea of training down here. Pretty much how much you spent on it is how likely they are to break, but these will get exponentially more expensive. If we do the idea of cost being 0, if we increase it by 10 each time, something like actually 20, 40, 80. Because you're going to want to spend the most amount of time here on your type of units, because that's where the majority of your number of soldiers times training. So if you're a militia, you're only going to get like 0.25. You're going to get nothing. 0.5. 0.75. 1. 1.25. Yeah, elite infantry is not going to break unless you are... everything is going wrong. So, alright, it's fine, it's fine. Light infantry, skirmishers. So if we want to do 1 to 3, this would be 50 to 300, would be 200. 3 to 1, so 3 for 1, so that would be 150 to 600 requisition for both of those. Very accurate. 50 to 100, 50 to 200, because guess what? They're fucking cavalry. 100 to 400. So the most expensive unit is like a full-on cav unit, which is accurate. Okay, so the number of soldiers time the unit, the type of unit. So if we do the type of unit, unit designation, 2 pips. 2, 4, 7, 10, 13. 2, 4, 7, 10, 13. So let's do a... Okay, let's just do a basic. We want to do... John's Jaegers. We want to do John's Jaegers. That's our sample one we're going to be using. So, we're going to have our basic attributes: fire, shock, morale. And we are going to have... How much is it going to be to... We're going to make these standard infantry. Actually, we'll make them standard skirmishers. And we're going to make them, since they're standard skirmishers, they're going to be worth 20 already up here. They're going to have 7 points to distribute. So they're going to have 4-3-0. They're going to be hopeless in an actual melee, but they're not supposed to be in a melee. Because guess what? They aren't. You're going to get your shit rocked if they're actually fighting. Because they're supposed to be infantry. So skirmisher-wise... So we want, how many men do we have? We have, we'll say 100 men. That's our composition. We have 100 men. So if we have 100, actually no, we need more. So let's do 300 men. 300 skirmishers. And if we do 300 skirmishers, it'll be 300 times. So it'd pretty much be 100 requisition to get them. That means our physical health. Our physical health would be 300 as of right now. Unless we want to do something like... So, infantry, skirmishers, cavalry. So we have to worry about exhaustion. That's going to be one thing we have to worry about. We need to worry about physical and drill. Is there anything else we need to worry about? Not really. So we do down here. So our physical health. Actually, it would be our maneuver. So you're going to be able to, if we assume infantry can move 1, skirmishers can move 2, cavalry is going to be able to move 4 because they're cavalry. Unless we want to give them each individual ones. Let's see it. We do individual ones, so if we move this down here. So, okay. Line infantry. Maneuver, they're going to have a maneuver of 1. They can move 1 tile for 1 action. Not much, but they're line infantry. They're not supposed to. And then what you should be doing is going into column to move effectively. So exhaustion, big 1. So each soldier has 1 health. That's it. Easy enough to understand. So if we go here, we want to go to... Let's go to the Jaegers. Melee attack 3. We want to look at... Melee. Actually, we want to do melee combat in total war combat. Oh god, Thrones of fucking Britannia. I remember Thrones of Britannia. No one else does. Yeah, that doesn't work. We used that. Okay. Grenadiers, exhaustion 1. If we use exhaustion of 1 here, Grenadiers have a lot more exhaustion, and they also have 1.5 health. Actually, they have... Yeah, we can do 1.5 health. The idea is that you're multiplying it by that to get your exact health amount, but your morale doesn't really improve. Your morale's only getting better by your training. So if we do light infantry, we can probably give them a better name. 2, 1.5. And then skirmishers proper have a maneuver of 3, an exhaustion of 2, because they're supposed to be moving around, but they have a lot less health. Like, under fire, skirmishers are going to get their shit rocked. Because they're not really supposed to get into fights. Actually, we can do 1 there. Actually, we can do 1.25, maybe 1.25 there, 1.5, 1.75. Because they're not really supposed to get into fights. They're being able to move around quickly, get to where they need to go. So that means we have heavy cavalry, medium cavalry, and then we have light cavalry, which you're going to have a maneuver of 4, 5, and 6. Exhaustion, we're going to have 1, 2, 3. You can probably do 2, 3, 4 for that, because you're not really going to get tired, because you're going to be mostly on horseback. So you don't really have to worry about walking as much, but it's still tiring to walk. Heavy cavalry is going to have, we'll say, 2.5 the amount of health, because they're going to be riding heavier horses. Medium cavalry is going to have 2, and you're going to have 1.5. So we use this concept right here. Our meat points, since we're skirmishers, are going to have 75. So we have 300 men. With 300 men. So if we do 300 times 0.75, we'll have 225 health. So we are... And how do you replicate the men? Alright, so if that doesn't work, because I want it to represent pretty much men dying, you are gradually losing men, and that's how your meat is going to be calculated. So yeah, let's just stick it with... We keep it with entirely based on the unit's health, because if someone is getting shot and dying, they're getting shot and dying. It does mean cavalry is a lot susceptible to that, but that's kind of the point. So our maneuver is going to be 3. Our exhaustion is going to be 300, because guess what? Actually, exhaustion... Let's actually increase this up to like... something like that. Like prolonged, because the idea behind exhaustion is what I want to do is like prolonged fighting. If you are moving, you are doing things, you're raising your exhaustion up, and you have to spend time to just like burn it off, because your guys are going to start fighting it a little bit less effective. Your people are going to start hurting because you're tired. We have sprinted straight up a hill for the past 10 minutes. and now I am can barely breathe, and you want me to fight? Crap. Unless we do that in like tiers. Well, how do we want exhaustion? How do we want to do exhaustion? That's the question. So let's just... Exhaustion is a timer mechanic. Forcing commanders maneuver their units aggressively. Sprint them to locations. Timer mechanic, forcing commanders to maneuver their units aggressively or sprint them to locations to have poor performing units. So we have poor performing units, and then we can probably do it by tier it. If we tier the idea of exhaustion mechanics, so the idea that you are pretty much moving your soldiers around and they're now exhausted, they're just tired. Let's actually do a little bit of Googling. We want to do tabletop war games with exhaustion mechanics. Yeah, I can bug the... Anyone know any war games with an exhaustion mechanic? For now, what we can do actually is we can actually change the nature of exhaustion. Exhaustion is a mechanic allowing units to take addition. If the unit ever runs out. They need a breather, or will take double morale damage. So if we use that idea, we can do 2, 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 4. The idea being that I want to use my exhaustion I'm using that as like an exhaustion, like a Benny mechanic almost. So you'd be able to use exhaustion to, say, maneuver your units better, get them into formation easier, but it's like, all right, like for these guys, the example, they would have exhaustion of 2. So they would have drill 7.75, so they would have 225 drill. Fucking drill. This is what I was worried about right here. That's what I was really worried about. The numbers are getting too high. Fuck. Okay, the numbers are too high. What do we have to do? Well, we have to reduce the numbers. We have to make them manageable. So if we want to make the numbers manageable, we need to make sure that they are able to use. Because the idea is, I take a hit, I'm going to reduce my morale by that much. Maybe... Unless we have like a ticking, so it would be like... Come on. The numbers. Why do not the numbers work? Unless we use the idea of damage is multiplied by certain factors by X, such as being loose formation against cavalry or being outnumbered. Losses plus units morale damage modifier. But that's only going to be something like 3. So at most, that's going to be something like 4 or 5, at most 10. Okay, yeah, here go to 25 volleys, and maybe you'll run away. But by that point, why bother? So many different things you got to do. Lowers the morale by the number of losses plus units. Factors by X, choosing a number of some medium range all you do 2 casual by hitting a 6. The numbers. Perhaps. We want to do number of soldiers divided by 2 times training. That seems like a lot of fucking math to calculate. Especially when you gotta do it every time. There's gotta be an easier way of doing that. There has to be. Because physical health is just number of soldiers. We're just going to keep that there. It's your number of soldiers is your physical health. Your drill, however, do I actually put anything here for drill? Come on, give me something here. Give me something. You got skills, okay. You got skills. Morale, okay. Morale skill the unit determines the strength of these positive and negative impact morale. Higher morale skill, more resistance. Special reaches maximum morale. Boy. Okay. Morale. I need something to work with here. Fuck. Morale system in TTRPG, question mark. Give me something. Look at some. Come on, give me something where I'm looking for role-playing games. Absolutely not simulation. No. Tabletop. Horse withdrawal. Dungans and Dogans. Alexander Connor, Snowfall. Suffers near a mist. We have to look at squad. We have to look at fucking squad leader. Okay, let's do squad leader. Squad leader game morale. This is literally. It's always funny. People always look at me and be like, "Oh wow, look at all these cool things that you came up with." No. You grift. You steal whatever you can find. This is game design. This is peak game design right here. We will look at. No, we don't want. Let's do Hungarian Fusiliers. Come on, baby. Come on. Squad leader does not like. There we go. Paid by broken squads. I'm looking for welcome to game design. See, this would be the time that I would like to ask the audience for assistance. However, I don't think anyone's actually here. Because I can see what I want to do. I can see the idea in my head. The idea that you are taking damage consistently. You are constantly losing morale. throughout the combat, of getting flanked, of getting attacked, getting this, but I need to figure out how to calculate that. Unless I do something like... we do number of soldiers. Hundreds and tens. If we want, this is going to be real janky. What we can do is we can remove the ones. Remove ones. Remove the one place. So the idea of the drill here would be 30. But, and then we'd times it by the multiplication, it would be 30 times 0.75. It would be 22, 23, effectively. The drill will be 23. However, if you have higher amounts, let's say I have 1,400 men, we remove the ones place, we'd have 140. We'd have 105 morale. Still high. It's still too fucking high. Or is it? The longer and green the bar is, higher morale. Shorter red the bar is lower. You may return to the battlefield, morale penalty. Units such as general units are shattered, have a flag above their head, simply disappear. This map are able to. Many factors influence the unit's morale. Unless we have a set value. Actually, let's do calculate morale, health, total war. That's what I want to do. I want to find out how you do the morale health. Nope, not fucking useless. Thanks, Reddit. God damn it. Okay, so let's take a step back. Let's think this through. Let's think it through. All right, so I'm playing the game. I got my unit. I'm fighting with my unit. We're getting shot at every turn. Unless we do something like a wavering mechanic. Would you believe I actually was thinking about getting combat done this session? My God. I barely know how to do fucking units. Jesus. Okay. Let's do something like this. Training. Let's just keep it as it is. I like this idea. Militia, recruits, regulars, veterans, elites. 2, 3, 4. Actually, 2, 3, 5, 7. No, we want to increase it by 8. So it would be 2, 6, 9, 12. What are the numbers I had? 2, 4, 7. 2, 4, 7, 10. Then you would be 13. 2, 4, 7, and 13. Excuse me, sorry. Apologies. So maneuvers pretty much are going to be, if we use that as your movement. Super boy points. Pretty much, or force you to do something that's a little bit not the way you're supposed to. Heavy cav, medium cav, they can go in there and they can use its charge and do shock. Be able to close the distance on your enemy, which is good. You want people to close distance on the enemy and destroy them. So, we want to do drill. What would be drill? Do I have the equation for this somewhere? Constant morale, drill morale. We do... And warfare morale. Come on, there's got to be something here. 0.03%. All right, awesome. I love it. If we do an idea such as... Okay, so if we do 50%, I mean, okay. Gonna be jank, but let's just call drill at 50. Actually, what we can do is we can base it off training. That could work. So you're gonna have 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. So the idea of drill, so if you... No, even that's too low. So if we do something like 25... Just by 15 each, so it'd be 40, 55, 60, 70, 85. And then that's full morale. Shaken. Broken. and what would be the shattered? So shaken would be at half. So maybe if we actually do 30, increase by 20 each time, so it'd be 70. Oh god, no, that's not right. Maybe 20, 40, 60, 80, 100. And then your shaken would be 40, 30, 20, 10. So you take 10 morale damage. Broken would be 0. Shattered would be 0. So effectively, if you break as this, you would just be completely broken. It would be 10. What would be a quarter of 60? 25% of 60. 15. 15, 20, 25. And then shattered would be this 0 across the board. You've lost everything. So if we use the idea of 4 morale, no morale penalty, double morale, triple morale, retreating. If we use this concept as of right now, it does give training a lot of weight. So that means we probably want to bump these up like this. So since these guys are standard, they're drill, they're regular skirmishers. So your drill would be 40. How if you hit 20 and then 10, you would be... That would also mean actually, we can probably put you at 5. So, like, 2 good volleys, like, in the militia probably is going to start running away because they're fucking militia. They're not really supposed to be under hardcore duress. Okay. Even then, I think these numbers should be higher. So let's assume every volley you're going to lose about 8 guys. So that would be about 8. So that would be 32. The second one would be 26. So you can sustain about 3-4 good shots before you start becoming shaken. That's fine. You get flanked, people are going to start running away, and you want to rally them. And then we'll have to put in modifiers for being outnumbering the enemy. That's just going to have to be a thing I'm going to have to do. All right. I think we have it. So overall, this entire thing cost us 140. No. Okay. Here's what we're going to do, actually. We're going to call this... We're going to give these guys... I know. We're going to give them morale. And then we're going to call these... Cravens. Recruits, regulars, veterans, unbreakable. And then we're also going to give them training, which we're going to call this militia, regulars, veterans, elites. This temporary names. I just need names. And then we can do 0, 20, 40, 60, 80. And then these would be the amount of pips you would gain. 3, 4, 7, 11. 1, 2, 7, 10, 13. That would be the amount of pips you would end up getting. So these guys, regular skirmishers, would get all of these. And they would get 7, and we want to give them regulars as well, so they would be worth 80. Regular drill. That'd cost 40 as well. $40, 80, so this would be 180 for this unit. And this is even an underbaked unit. So if we use this concept, these very basic concept, let's build a cavalry regiment. We want to do Cody's Rough Riders. Men. So we want to do, we're doing Cody's Rough Riders. We want to do medium cavalry. Yeah, we'll do medium cavalry. We're going to put in 150 men. And if we put in 150 men, that means our cost is going to be 150 times 2 would be 300 requisition just for just the amount of manpower we're kind of bringing to bear. But that would also mean we have 150 health. And our drill, we are not going to be the heaviest drilled people, but we don't need to be. We're literally just Rough Riders, so it would be 40. And we are going to be drill recruits. Because we are skimping out on money because we are cheap bastards. That'd be 40. And since we are medium cavalry, we have a maneuver of 5. Exhaustion of 3. And our training is we are going to have recruit training. So that means we get 4. We're all going to be entirely shock with 1 little bit of fire. We are not really well known. We're not really doing any extra morale damage. However, we rush in there, we kill as many as we can, we back out. So our total cost, if we use recruits for 20, is these guys are worth 360 requisition. But that's also 450 men that you have, along with 150 horses. All right. This will work. It's not flawless, but it'll work. And it'll also allow people to edit as they see fit. We can probably add a little bit more training. I'll have to think about that later. Morale is not perfect, but it'll work. It'll work. Which does bring me to... Okay, so Cody's the Rough Riders, skirmishers. So if we use the idea of each player has 500 requisition. Actually, what we can do is the company has 500 requisition for each player. 500 requisition per player. So if you have 4 players, you have 2,000 requisition. 2,000 requisition. Everyone's going to be assumed to have basic. And then we're going to have our equipment, which wibbity wibbity woo. We're not going to worry about that. We're not going to worry about equipment. Fuck equipment. we will worry about that later. No, I should actually add it. So, standard rifles. Actually, I don't know. I'll worry about that later. So 500 requisition per player. However, some players are going to want, okay, I just want a bunch of shitty soldiers that I can throw at the enemy. Or I want a bunch of really good guys or I want a few good guys. And you could share that requisition among players. So you might have a player worth 750 requisition and one only worth 250. That's fine. Okay. What makes Grenadiers worth it? Grenadiers have more exhaustion. We can probably call equipment load. I'll worry about that later. The problems cannot hurt me until I look at them. Okay, so units, attributes, manpower, and skill on the battlefield. The Ogre Company has 500 RQ per player. Per player in the per player, allowing the group to mix and match their fighting units to their desired composition. All right, so what we want to do is we want to break this down. So if we break this down, so the type of unit, infantry, skirmishers, or cavalry. We can give each of these kind of their due diligence. Let's say infantry are your main bulk of your army. Skirmishers are designed to pretty much skirmish and not really get into the fight as much. And cavalry kind of, well, be cavalry. Unit designation, line infantry, grenadiers. Actually, we can probably bump grenadiers up by 1. No. We do something like that. Yeah. Unit designation. You probably scrap that. Unit type. Requisition cost per soldier. RQ to soldier. And then we want to do minimum soldiers, maximum soldiers. Then we have our costs. Actually, we don't need this section. We have our type of unit. Actually, it would be unit type, maneuver, exhaustion. We have to explain both of those. Then we're going to consider this bodies. Actually, we'll call this meat. Kind of get a little bit dramatic in there, and then we'll, drill. And then we'll have to explain what full morale is. Actually, we can call this eager, shaken, broken, shattered. And then we have our training, which is pretty much the number of pips you would receive. What we can probably do is put this up here instead. Do something like this even. because you would receive 3. You would see 2, 4, 7, 7, 10, 13 pips. Okay. This works. And it works because I'm saying it does. Ta-da! Yep, welcome to game design. Alright, so you want to do maneuvers, Superboy points, training, amount of pips receive, meat for just the raw amount of health the character has. We could probably put it up here as well. We can put it in, like, this is the minimum amount of maximum amount of soldiers you can actually have. And then we have our drill at the bottom. So it would be, this is the amount of soldiers you have. Okay. Desired composition. So then we want to do, since this is 3, we want to put this, call this men and blood and men. A unit is nothing without. Inside of it. A unit is nothing but the soldiers inside of it. Each soldier comes equipped. A standard-ish soldering kit, including uniform, including a basic uniform, weapon, basic uniform and weapon. Actually, that could be idea for equipment. Yeah, I can do that. And a weapon, basic uniform and weapon. So if we post this, what else do we need? Okay. Each soul purchase with requisition with RQ. Each soldier must be purchased with RQ to fill out the unit to the minimum, and or fill out the unit. Each soldier also contributes to the total health, to the total meat of the unit, signifying its health, its physical well-being, total meat of the unit. Should the number of soldiers reach 0, the unit is destroyed. But they've probably routed at that point. The unit is wiped out. Total meat of the unit. Okay, actually, we want to make that 2. We do something like this. Table properties, Mitte Santa. We want to do railway 12. We just do 1? Yeah, we can just do 1. 1 van. We'll do 1.4. Yeah, perfect. So what's you at? You're at 1.4. Keep her soldier. Keeps. Is there anything else I should put in here? No. Okay. So what I am actually going to do... Nope, nope, I want to do column left. Infantry. Infantry. Skirmisher. Skirmisher. Cavalry. 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 Mechanical weight has no mechanical implication outside of their desired goal. Desired purpose. Infantry, the bulk of many armies, using line formations to deliver a maximum amount of firepower at the enemy while absorbing most of their shots. Skirmishers are harassers, focusing on independent action and fighting the enemy more by disrupting their formations than by actually doing damage to them. Cavalry's function is a mass shock. Able to rout the enemy, able to crash into the enemy, dealing devastating damage to the unprepared before pulling back for the next attack. Every unit identity, however, and every unit has a specific has an identity though, built through their training and camaraderie. Their function may remain similar, but how they go about it may be different. And then we're going to move on to the second part, which is going to be training. How about we do this and then we put you right here. Can we fit everything on here or no? We can, maybe. Wait, this is gonna get tight. Nope. Fuck. God damn it. Actually, maybe if I extend you out to 2, I'd be able to. Yeah, I could do that if I extend things out to 2. Table alignment center, middle. Can we do 1.5? Yeah. Center everything. All right. Blood and men, nothing that's... If each theory, the unit is wiped out. Actually, how about we do... Because we want to do... We'll put blood and men here, qualities. Qualities of a good soldier. And then we'll do heading 3. And each unit has let's see, maneuver, exhaustion, training, and drill. Okay. 4 additional types, 4 additional qualities assigned to them. Maneuver, exhaustion, drill, training. Do we go down to 4? I think we have to. Maneuver and exhaustion. Maneuver and exhaustion is the speed the unit can move on the field. On the field of battle. Quickly or able to reposition themselves or set up new formations. Set up new formations quickly. Exhaustion is how exhaustion is how likely as how represents the fatigue and difficulty of movements, combat in the air. A commander can spend exhaustion to gain an additional action on the unit's turn, representing them pushing them to go faster, move quicker, or simply go faster, move quickly to get a move on for their own safety. Should exhaustion of a unit reach 0, they are considered exhausted. Let's see. We'll change it to stamina. Stamina represents I think it gives it a little bit. I think stamina gives a little bit better of what I'm trying to go for. Should exhaustion be unit reach 0, they consider exhausted and if engaged in combat, take double drill damage all from the attacks. Attacks until they are able to rest. I might actually bump this up slightly. I don't know about that. Actually, what I'm going to do is... And then what we need to do is we need to do drill. Actually, you do training first. Let's do training. Oh, That's 4 additional qualities. Training and drill. Maneuver and stamina. That's selected above. Training and drill are purchased. Q. Railway 12. RQ. Actually, what we can do is training RQ cost. Got number of attribute pips. We'll do something like, oh god, I made a mistake. Number of attribute pips, RQ cost. Select everything. Pure. Zero, 20, 40, 60, 80. I have to give these better names, but we won't worry about names because names are hard. Number of attribute pips, so training and drill. Training represents natural ability. Training the unit has undergone. Allow it. Granting them higher attributes to be assigned to the core three attributes: fire, shock, and morale. Fire is the amount of damage. Is the skill. This is disgusting. I have to fix this entire section, but I need to get it down on paper. Other ranged weapons. Shock is the ability in close quarters combat. Morale is the amount of additional drill damage the unit will toward enemies. This is disgusting, and it's pretty bad. I need to fix this entire section. Oh god, I just might spend tomorrow doing that. Hell, I might spend tonight doing it. Bad idea. So flip on some dank tunes and just throw myself at this to make it slightly better looking, because right now it's kind of atrocious looking. But it's like I need just to get it down on paper or I will forget it. And then we want to do, where's the drill? So drill is how brave and courageous the unit is. in the face of danger. However, no one is entirely fearless. Even the most hardened soldiers may break and run away when in hopeless odds. Each level of drill is represent when taking drill damage, the units may go to shaken, broken, and then finally shattered. A shaken unit is takes double morale damage as they begin to falter. Broken units will attempt to flee the battle if they are able to. If they take additional damage, if they continue to fight, they will take a triple morale damage. Actually, it'll be drill damage. I need to fix that as well. Drill damage. They triple drill damage. Finally, when a unit is shattered, they have completely fallen in disarray, and it's and have begun to rout. And have begun to rout. If unable to retreat, they will most likely surrender. Zero, 20, 40, 60, 80. No. We want to double this each time. 80, 100, 60. Eager, shaken, broken, shattered. Drill value. RQ. This is a disgusting section, but it works. So is there anything else I really need? Not really. Probably make a few sample soldiers, but once that's done, that's done. Well, in that nightmare stream, I'm going to probably call it there. Didn't quite get done when I wanted to get done today, but sometimes you just have to accept your losses in some cases, and I ended up getting 1, 2, 3 pages done when I wanted to get the entirety of combat done, and yeah. Welcome to getting stuck on something, and it's always one thing. Every single game, it's always just one little thing I get stuck on. Hopefully things go smoother there, so I'll clean this up tonight. But as of right now, creating a unit is done. In theory, everything works. In theory. And once we have that in place, combat should go fairly smooth. So what we'll do is next Monday, we'll focus entirely on combat into equipment. Once we get into combat, once combat's done, we should be pretty good, and from there we can move on to all the other little rules. So, everything looks pretty good there. So thank you all for watching. I know this wasn't exactly the most exciting stream in the world, but welcome to game design and me trying to figure out little things, because it's always one little thing. Thank you all. Hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Godspeed, good luck, and I'll catch you all on the flip side. Goodbye.